started with something simple, something that on the surface should have been uncomplicated. A young woman going home, not for a red carpet, not for a film premiere, not for anything that would normally put her name in headlines. She went home because her hometown was burning. Spokane, Washington, the place Sydney Sweeney grew up, the place that shaped her before the world knew her name. And now, wildfires were tearing through it, displacing families, destroying homes, leaving people with nothing but the clothes on their backs and a desperate need for help. So she showed up, not with cameras trailing a publicity stunt, not with a team orchestrating the perfect shot. She showed up with food. Alongside her boyfriend, music mogul Scooter Braun, Sweeney partnered with World Central Kitchen and the Women and Children's Free Restaurant, two organizations built for exactly this kind of crisis, getting hot meals into the hands of people who had lost everything. Witnesses saw her walking up to car after car, handing out bags of food herself. No entourage doing the work for her. No distance between her and the people she was helping, just her on the ground in the town that raised her. For a moment, it looked like a clean story, a celebrity using her platform, her resources, her name, to bring relief to a community in crisis. The kind of story that usually earns nothing but praise. But the internet does not forget. And for Sydney Sweeney, the internet had a long memory. Because just months earlier, her name had been at the center of a very different kind of firestorm. Not wildfire, cultural fire, a denim campaign for American Eagle, built around a clever, cheeky wordplay. Good genes, good genes. It seemed harmless on paper. A pun, a marketing hook. But the internet did not read it that way. Within days, the campaign exploded into controversy. Critics accused the ad of leaning into language associated with white supremacy. Others went further, invoking eugenics, even drawing comparisons to Nazi ideology. What was meant to sell jeans instead ignited a firestorm of debate about beauty standards, genetics, and the coded language of privilege. Sweeney's name became inseparable from the controversy, whether she wanted it that way or not. And so, when the wildfire footage surfaced, Sweeney handing out meals, comforting strangers, working alongside her boyfriend to bring relief to displaced families, not everyone saw kindness. Some saw strategy. The comments began almost immediately. One person accused her of using the wildfire relief effort as a way to erase the memory of the jeans controversy, framing it as a calculated attempt to win back a specific political audience she'd unintentionally courted months earlier. It wasn't an isolated comment. It was a signal that no act, however genuine it might be, would be judged in isolation. It would be judged against everything that came before it. Think about the position that puts her in. A woman goes back to her hometown during a genuine crisis. She hands out food to people who lost their homes. And instead of being met with universal support, she's met with suspicion. Every kind gesture scrutinized, every act reframed as image repair, every smile in a video dissected for hidden motives. This is the reality of modern fame. Nothing exists in a vacuum anymore. Every action a public figure takes is filtered through everything that came before it. A wildfire relief effort isn't just a wildfire relief effort. It's evidence weighed against past controversies, judged not just on what it is, but on what people believe it's trying to hide. And here's where the story gets even more complicated, because underneath all of this noise, there's a version of events that's easy to lose. A version where a 28-year-old woman, raised in Spokane, watched wildfires tear through the community that raised her, and decided to do something about it. Not because a publicist told her to, not because a campaign needed rehabilitating, because it was home, and home was hurting. But in the world of internet fame, intention rarely gets the benefit of the doubt. Once a public figure becomes controversial, every future action becomes a battlefield. Supporters see redemption. Critics see manipulation. And the actual human being caught in the middle, the one physically standing on a street handing out meals to displaced families, gets lost somewhere between the two extremes. This is not just Sydney Sweeney's story. This is the story of what it means to be famous in an era where nothing is taken at face value. where kindness can be reframed as calculation, where showing up for your community can be twisted into a public relations maneuver, where the past never truly fades. It lingers, ready to reshape the meaning of everything that comes after it. So, where does that leave her? Caught between two narratives that refuse to reconcile. On one side, a woman using her fame to bring real, tangible relief to families who lost everything to wildfires. On the other, a public figure still fighting to escape the shadow of a controversy she may never fully outrun. And the unsettling truth is this: there may be no way to satisfy both sides. If she stays silent about the backlash, critics see it as an admission. If she addresses it, critics see it as further proof she's calculating her image. The trap closes either way. Meanwhile, back in Spokane, the fires are still burning. Families are still displaced. Meals are still being handed out, car by car, person by person. Whatever the internet decides to believe about her motives, the food is real. The need is real. The devastation is real. Maybe that's the part of the story that gets buried under all the noise. Not the debate over motives, not the endless scrutiny, but the simple, undeniable fact that in a town facing disaster, someone showed up and kept showing up while the rest of the world argued about why. In the end, the fire doesn't care about the controversy. It doesn't care about the backlash, the accusations, or the endless debate raging online. It only cares about what's left in its path and who is standing there ready to help when everything else was reduced to ash.
Sweeney has very canes. Sydney Sweeney has very canes.